Welcome. Let's start off real quick. I just watched a Kmart commercial. They were showing boxer shorts. There were 6 men. Each pair of legs had the same kind of shorts. So there were 12 legs. 6 and 12, the bottom and the top of the clock. They went jingle bell, and the gold shorts started everything off, and the gold shorts ended everything. Why would you call it gold? Because it's solid gold, my friends. What comes out of your mind, out of your mouth, but if it comes out of your mouth and it doesn't come out of your ass, my father always said, what's coming out of your mouth is shit, my friends. There's expressions about the ass and the mouth. Hold your horses, my father says. So that means I must have two Intel processors. But they only gave me an Acer. Why? The electronic creation of the energy of the Reich. You know what Reich is? Right now, this minute, 666 is in Denver. What else is in Denver, just above or just below New Mexico, which is right across from Arizona? Running on Highway 25 can be just as much 52, and it also talks about Saturn. Bell, under the ground, is in Saturn. There's 7 numbers. That means the energy or the rails comes from Uranus. And if it comes from Uranus in your own ass, it's your own ass lighting it up. If your own ass is lighting up the fire that comes out of your mind within the spirit world, it is for you in the soul world. So what does it mean, Uranus? Uranus is on one side, and Uranus is connected up to what? Saturn. Uranus is also connected up to Earth. Uranus is also being messaged from Jupiter, because it's Jupiter that sends out all the messages. But it's man with inside his own heart that receives his own soul message. Man would be of the receiving of the 7th gate of the Venus world. He receives through his singularitin processor from the heart that he lives, of the soul of who he is. Saturn's soul, the spirit of 67, is water, and soul is 67. Water and both souls say the spirit is 76. I did want to say something, and I have to skip off, but I will come back. One times 6, 1 plus 6 equals to your 7 and 6. It comes from Mercury, and it comes from Saturn. Saturn is the earth. Mercury is what runs inside of you. Mercury rising. If Mercury is rising, what is Mercury? Is it something to do with part-time of the temperature? Now I want to change on to CB codes. Remember I'm saying creation comes because of this? Well, CB code 10.4 says okay, because one side tells the other side of the brain, it's okay. I got it. I got the message. It's okay. I received. 10.4, the difference between 10 and 4 is 6. Beta creation, B and C, 2 and 3, is a CB code for 2, 3, and 4. 10.4 says okay. 2, 3, and 4 is 9. 9 and 10. Your Neptune mind. 3 and 3 of the light. 1, 2, 3. Which connects to 1, 2, 3, which connects to 1, 2, 3. The corners of 2 sides. In jail and go to jail. Now I don't know the exact expression of it, so if you don't understand something, I'd have to explain it again. Somehow the light comes up. This is the hole it comes up. As it comes up this hole, does it also fract off and go to these 2? Does it hit the dome, which is up here, which is a mirror, and reshoots back down? And now when it shoots back down, it's going to 8 areas, plus the cat house has got lit up? No. The cat, somehow, it goes right through the cat. Somehow in your body it has to go through something. That's why maybe the cat gets hairballs for things coming up north. Now I know I'm a little bit here and there, but CB codes is 10-200. That would be the year 2000, plus it's 10-4. 10-4, CB codes 200, 2000, 10-4, 2014. And there are some codes that are missing. But one thing about the CB code, on one of the pages, the first page I went to in Wikipedia, It said 1974 was the last time all these codes came together. And you know what it says? It says all kinds of stuff. And the most thing it says about the bear. What about the bear? The bear in the air, the bear, all about the bears, the bears, the bears, the bears, Chicago Bears, all about the bears, the policemen, and the CB codes and how they work. 21 times 47, the time of life and death, equals to 987. 987 and 789 is 1776, in which 1 and 7, I want to show you how this comes together. 1 and 7, where's 1 and 7? I want to show you because I did something else with 1 and 7 that I've never done before, which is right here. 9 times 8, H and I. Why? Because A and 7 go together, creating an 8, creating an H. The 8 has the one spirit inside, the one light of 7 cards. In the 52 world, it shows in the deck of cards. How did I get it? 9 times 8. How did I get 9 times 8? From 49. Where did I get 49 from? I got 49 from green 8. Green and 8 are 49 each. So it's 2 areas times 2 is 98. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 plus 8 is 17. A and G and the BGs. This says big. This says hip. You got to be hip to win big. These numbers come right off the piano. You did not use the center C for creation. When you do use your center C, 1 and 2 would be 3. This would be 20. You're now in the 20 world of 2 sides. 22 and 22 of life. Why 22 and 22 of life? Although you see 4 areas of V, once you create 2 areas of V, the top and the bottom, you have created the east and the west, like connecting together 2 horses. You've created the V. When you put 2 V's together, it creates an X. 22nd letter, 24th letter. Grover Cleveland 2 times. Zion, Israel, and number 1. And number 1, the geometrical count is 34. 3 and 4, Earth and Mars, the only two planets with no U. 3443 is hot and cold. It also creates 77, in where Jesus equals 74, but Christ equals 77. 7 times 7 is 49. When you're in the NFL, you have 1 and 1 difference, which is the K. Means you're splitting it up. You're splitting up the 2 brains. The K will give you the energy E, and the 2 lines will show you the 11. The NFL is splitting up the Super Bowl brains. You win the Grey Cup, the 2 sides of the brains. The Super Bowl that split them up is actually over the top, and there's a marking down between. How can I say it? There's this. This is what they have done to the 2 brains right over here. Okay? They have done this right here to the 2 brains, right over here. They split the 2 sides. The Super Bowl has something in between. I don't know what it is. How do you pick up the Super Bowl? What does it look like? And what does the Grey Cup look like? So I can understand what's happening in my head between these 2 items. 6, 1, and 3, letter P, the 1 spirit of light. Look what they did with the 1 spirit of light. If it's coming up this way, the 1 spirit of light, if the 1 spirit of light is coming up this way, it shoots it up to the top of your head and it splits the light from down below. The 1 and the 6. So it goes over here and you split it up. This was a 0 before, but with 1 line, I made it D and D. This was 0 equaling to 15. In between was 2, 3, and 4. Well, in between is 2, 3, and 4. The line of the division is what it is when you split up that light. It becomes the light of 3, the light of 3, and the light of 3. It lights up a back burner here, a back burner here, but these 2 Ds, they come together. But regardless, okay, regardless, the 4th letter D and the 4th letter, 44. An area of 2 and 2, VD, because now you have to connect the V. Why do we connect the V? Well, this divided them. This connects them over here, so they work in circulation as processors. but we make the V to pick up from both sides, to fuel. We have to fuel both sides. We fuel both sides, the V. As we fuel, something to do in our nose, the processor, keep it cool. So now we have VD, the 22nd letter in the fourth, the 22nd in the fourth. The D, when you play cards and you're playing French, it says D for lady, V for valet. If you take a look at it, it's an R. R stands for Reich, or the worlds of 666. You see the one position has 2 and 4? The one position has 2 and 4? Okay? I'm not sure if it's where they're going to light up, but the 2 and the 4 light. Why? Because in Rubik's Cube, when you turn the center, it moved 4. These 2 didn't move, but the lights from these did. So you have 4 and 2. Or you move it this way, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. Now this is north-south. That doesn't move within the center. Robotics. So now we show 2 sides of the brain. We have the D here, we have the D here. Now with this line over here, okay, we now have to branch out. I don't know how this works, but we have to use this up and this down, which the Venus world, this is connected to your automatic, your Earth and your Mercury. If you were on numbers, you're constantly connected. You're surrounded. The minute you breathe and you breathe out, you're connected right away. We live in it. You don't see it. You don't smell it. You walk into it. It's the space. It's the compression and the surrounding of the space you are in. It's like a glove. Doesn't matter how you move. The molecules break up and go back together. So if you're in a room and you say, how can I get sick from somebody across the room? Because we are all in the same bubble up to a certain distance. You see this? When you do it, it creates the letter R. You got an R one way and R the other way. The 18th and 18th letter equals to your 36. 3 times 6, 3 plus 6 is 18, and 9 is 27, T-H-I-R-D. INR equals 27, and INR equals to that 9 times 8 equals to your 72 that I just showed you. 7 and 2 because the piano, now I got to look for this again. 7 and 2 because the piano, okay, before you reach center C, you have to first start the 2 keys. First you'll go 1, 7, 2, 7. Then you'll go 3, 7. Then after that, you'll go 1, 6, 2, 6. Then you'll go 3, 6. Well, why 1, 2, and 3? Because 1, 2, and 3 covered the other 3 sides. 1 and 6, 2 and 5, 3 and 4 will create 7, 7, 7. You're already creating, if you're going out this way, you're coming in this way, you're going out. If you come into an area and it's a tube, you're going in that area, you're going out of that area, so therefore, if it's not going one way, it's going the other way. And everybody knows this is number 13, this is number 13, this is number 13. All of these are number 13. There are 6 of them. 60 makes 78. 78 is your October. 78 are your queens. Why is 78 your queens? Because 78, if you add up 1 to 12, it equals to 78. So that means if you went 12, 12, 12, and 12, talking about moons, you'd have 78 and 78 is 156, 312. Doesn't it work out perfectly? Here. This is your piano. It all starts right over here. The next one, you add these 2 up together, and 1 and 2 becomes 3 in the 7 and 7th world. You want to see where that world? I have 2 areas that I'm designing something. First, I want to show you an old picture, which is this. All ends. Nothing ever ends. It always stretches out, but when it does end, okay, this circle is not actually a circle. A circle goes, every time there's an X, you get a circle, okay? Now, this cap shows you there's a cap on it. This one is a K, okay? If you look at the K, there is no X's. It only creates a V, but it creates a V on this side, a V on this side, and a perfect V in the middle. It becomes your W. It becomes your B. Your B and your V in Spanish because the V is above the B. And also, the other way would create your D. Once the line comes in the center over here, you now can split the energy up this way. The energy gets split up over here, split up over here, and split up over here. This is the way we live on the cross. Okay? You get X, and X is 24, or number 10, 5 and 5 worlds. And the X in the center, or the plus sign. Why? Because this crisscrosses. You see the way it's 5 here? See the way it's 5 here? This is your 10 card. At the same time, this is where your 8 card would go, your 2 areas of moons in the 7th gate. Don't you see how the 7th gate comes? You see this is a 7, and this is a 7 upside down. The picture cards standing for the guards at the 7th gate. One picture card goes here, one picture card goes here. The 7th gate creates the hourglass. It also creates the 8, because the minute you take a circle, if I would put a circle right over here, I put a circle to say this is the digital. This is the digital of man. Man lives between 2 worlds here, and he lives over here. I don't know exactly how he gets hung up, okay, but he might be direct. He has to be directly in the center, unless he's this way. See the elephant ears? See the 2 eyes? See the 1 chin, the shoulders, and his body? This might become your chakra. This is the Magen David when it's this way, and then when it's this way. This is the real way to do it, my friends. You see what happens? I get a perfect square in the center, right over here. And this is your pool ball. You get your stripes over here, where the number in the pool ball gets marked on a stripe over here. So look, you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus your 1 is 9, 10. You don't work with your exhaust system. You don't count. When you go to the bathroom, it's counted as a system. What'd you do? I did a number 2. So you know what I'm saying? Venus is 2 from your mind up. Venus, okay, this over here, this is where the Zion is. You see this square here? 1 square here, 1 square here. And this square is your Saturn. In this square, I would call it your Mars. Okay? So at each end of your hand, you are the power of Mars and Saturn. I don't know how it works, but it's all created out of Venus. Because this is Venus in the center. Venus goes into Saturn, and Venus goes into Mars. Mars is probably used as the ingredients to build the sandbox, which is in man's head. And Saturn is for the body and the equipment we need to run the skull bones. 63, well, we're not going to get into that right now. 4, 2, and 4. 10. 4, 4, and 4. Why? Because this is 5, and this is 5, and this is 3. 13. Because we overlap and we use them both, because if the lower section is pumping out, then the top section is receiving. So one gesture creates automatically 1 in to come out, to come in, to come out, for man to exhaust. So everything is more than one gesture. This is your club. This is your keyhole. This is the train. These are the tracks. These are the magnets. This somehow is on one side and this is on the other. You know what that means? Something to do over here and something to do with your ribs. They're holding us hostage. So we did that 9x8, the piano thing, and the piano tells a story within the words. I just saw a Kmart commercial. There were 6 men wearing shorts, okay, and they were dingling a bell. Bell has to do with the underground, it has to do with the rats, and it has to do with the stars. Not only is Bell under the ground, they're one of the only systems I know that only use 7 numbers and do not use an area code. So they must own it. B and 5, okay, it stands for like an automatic, that it has to do with Jupiter out of Venus. Obviously coming from hometown, which is Uranus. Uranus, okay, one of the ways to make Uranus, here's a U, here's a whole U, and here's another U. Sometimes you see a square above the U. The square is above the U because there's a design. When you go to stumble upon, you'll see this. See, this is the F. You see this line that goes through? Okay? Why? Because in the hoses, they're tied together. This is twisted together. It's 2 of the same thing turned together, turned around. Otherwise, I'd have to go and make different ones. They'd never work. So it's tied up over here. Here's your square, because I'm connecting this world to the U from this world. 2 sides of me. I told you, I'm not sure how it works. What does this chalk 10 say? When you play pool, they usually give you blue chalk. There's something about the pool balls. Okay, 20 minutes of video, that's going to be it. I'm going to just be jumping around. CB codes again, number 23, it's a 10-4. What's missing? 6 is in between, because what it means is I am 6. I am responding to the fork code. The fork code says I am within Neptune of Venus, I am of Mars and of Saturn, I am Jupiter, the communication is within. I have within the birthright to communicate with my spirit. I breathe in through these noses that go out to the sides of my hair, that boil my mind and sweat my brains. I grow my hair. Fiber optics. It's under the ground. The ship that was under the ground. The ship that does not move. It does not move because they're communicating with this under the ground. It's all about communication under the ground. Number 13, number 13, number 13. If you want to count 13, let's count it this way. If this was a center, I'd say 13, 14, and 15. Okay, but number 14 in this owns 6 areas. Now I gotta get a pen out. The center of Rubik's, the spindle, 6 areas. 6 areas, but it is the one area center to the 8 corners. 1 center to 8 corners, 4 up, 4 down, 3 in between. Everything is so perfect. So if you want to know about the quarter moons, how the earth pans with the moon, this is a baseball field. Imagine this was a baseball field. All you have to do is you don't need here and you don't need here. I don't know exactly the way it works because you're sitting at home plate. You're the furthest away. Man is right here at home plate. He doesn't need here. He doesn't need here. He sees it. The game is right here. Here and here are the 2 hemispheres of his mind. He plays his game in front of his nose. That's why we take this side of the field, the outfield, and a foul ball, because it means nothing. Man's life, when he gets buried, okay, position number 9 is where the what's it called? Well, where's position number 6? Where does man get buried? When man gets buried, 6 feet down, he has 2 feet up. Second base would be, wouldn't that where it be? 2? Because all 3, when man goes buried 6 feet down, okay, it's just 2 feet up, he has to be at second base. They can spin him away and see which field he's going to end up at the end. But anyways, I'm just fooling around with that. 18 holes in golf. The 19th hole is the clubhouse. But they never say the 10th hole is the clubhouse. What do they say after 9 holes? So I'm just shooting things around. Then we had Rubik's Cube. If it's centered to 4, it becomes number 5. Number 5 is what the Mayans talk about. It's all around number 5. Rubik's, 18, 39, 41, 50, 74. Rubik's Cube, 1 center, corner to 8 corners, 4 up and 4 down. Crisscrossing if you want. 10-10 worlds. Rubik's Cube, Rubik's the word, number 74. Nibiru, N-I-B-R-U, N-I-B, Ni, Bi, Ru, right in the word of Rubik's. Boston Bruins, right in the name of Rubik's. Why? Because they're number 17, Boston. Number 17 creates that light. 1 times 7, 1 plus 7 equals to 15. The 2 hemispheres. The 7th gate. I'm assuming the 7th gate is all over here. Is the 8th gate right over here. Something to do with the 2 sides of your mind and then you, the fish in between. How this becomes the 7th and 8th gate. How it becomes 7 and 8, which talks about the queen. And the queen has all the eyes. So she sees everything that she sees, but she doesn't see what she doesn't see. This is on your piano. This creates the, this will eventually open up the door to go and bring you to the Mediterranean, the last property you can get, because you start with 2 dice and it's the first position, area number 2. Rubik's is 74, Jesus is 74, cross is 74. Crisscross, train tracks. Total 222 times 8, the 8 corners, 1776. 8 is in opposition of 6. If 8 is in opposition of 6, 8 times 222, and 6 times 296. 6 times 296 and 8 times 222, 1776. Both of them. But at the same time, 4 times 444 and 3 times 4 times 444 and 3 times 592 is also 1776. The prism and the sandbox. Man of 9-6 of the Venus world. The 9 legs of the cat, the man lives. Why? Because it's his body that does the other 3 elements. Creates the light. He breathes to make his body work. 2, 5, and 8. Unless you become low shoe, then every corner will become 3 in low shoe, or 1, or 7. I have to figure out which one I want to use, because low shoe, it's when low shoe becomes this. Okay, you see, this is your outfield and your infield, but low shoe, the minute you turn this on a corner, all of these, can't you see the tic-tac-toe in all of them? Tic-tac-toe in here, tic-tac-toe in here. Do you see the 2 V's? Just a V letter on each one. Venus, Venus. It looks like Venus is bent over. 2 people. I'm bent over forward, and my shadow is underneath me, bent over forward. We're kissing each other, and our legs become 2 sets of legs, and we become one person looking at each other. Those are the brains, but we're actually out that way. Another part I wanted to show you is here's the way it works. Here's the way it works. Okay. See, this side was a stripe. I didn't make it on this side, but this would be the tallest you would wear. There would be your mouse. I didn't do it because of your mouse. Now, this world, okay, did you notice the way I went 1, 2 here? Over here is 1. Okay. Some kind of mistake. I'm not sure why it ended that way, but if you take a look, it doesn't go through. This one shows 1 space because I finished it. This one looks like it's 2. That's the only reason. Then you have over here, you see your perfect square, your perfect square. This area is 5. This area is 8. This area is 5. You must look at the roulette wheel to know it. If you take a good look at this, this is your digital. It's an 8. If I finish off this, it becomes the 8. This is your tree of mug and dovets. See the V this way and the V this way? The V this way and the V this way? These are your rivers that flow. Now, there's still more ways to do it. You have 3 lights on this side. Excuse me. You have 4 corners of light. Okay, each corner, because you can only give light through each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Excuse me, 4 corners. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. And the light is right here. If the light has been divided. Anyways, Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Oh, I'm going to keep coming on and on and on. Number 13, 4 times. 52. Rubik's. Number 13 times 4. 13 times 2. And 13 times 1. Why do I say that? Because the spindle. What the spindle does. But when the spindle moves, it moves 4. But when it moves the 4, it moves all 4 away from the other 4. Okay, this one here, right? This is number 13. When I move number 13, okay, it moves from this one here and this one here. But this is number 2 and number 2. So 13 moves away from number 2. 1 and 3 is 4. 2 and 4. 8 and 6 make the 10 revelation because it's in the center. Raphael 7286 in the constellation of Pegasus. Number 29, into the Venus world comes a Pluto doll from the oceans of her stomach. And that's what I'm thinking. I think number 9 has to do with the ocean somehow. 9 and 4, the oceans and the sand. 9, 4, and 6. Let's think about it. The oceans and the sand. The body of Saturn. The system of Bell Canada. The beta world. Time heaven. But it's not electrical time. It seems like it's communication time, because when the communication breaks down with the body, well, time runs out. You need the air to breathe, and you breathe in the air, and with that, all systems go. You want to say astronaut? The CB codes for astronaut, okay, has to do with a policeman in the air. So when they started talking about astronauts, were they not talking about policemen that were in the air doing other than? Raphael 7286. And for those who came here at the end, the ship that is stuck, okay, right now in the ice, is because they're communicating with this. From the air to the ship, from the ship down below the surface, because is it salt water or not, but the energy will transmit sonar, and they will send whale messages. What's going on for sound in that area? What's going on for sound? Raphael, thank you for watching 7286.